Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Keysa Ghesaniy Shabira. I became a moderator from Group 5, and now we will presentation about slang and idiom in grammar in spoken discourse. And here's our members from Group 5, consists of 5 people including me. There is Nisa Suminar, Ardelia Apsari, Aulia Rahma, Lestari Pancarini, and me, Keysa Ghesaniy Shabira. Without any further ado, let's get started to the first material that will be delivered by Nisa Suminar. To Nisa, time is yours.
Thank you, Keysa. And here I will explain about the slang. What is slang? Slang is kind of speech variety or for speaker or a group of speakers. Linguistic features of a speech variety can be found at the lexical, the phonological, the morphological, or the syntactical level of language. In contrast, one of the Swedish research on slang, Anna-Britta Stenström, in her article From Slang to Slanguage, a description based on teenage talk, shows that one of the Swedish dictionaries consulted, Born Stora Lexicon, maintains English and that the origin is unknown. Also, she provides an identical opinion of Swedish Encyclopedia Nationalencyklopedin, which states that used in the countries until the middle of the 15th century. The first occurrence of the word slang is that not consequently, word slang appeared in English language earlier than in the language of Scandinavian countries. Thank you. That's enough for me.
All right, thank you, Nisa, who has delivered the material. For the next material will be delivered by Hesti. To Hesti, time is yours.
All right, thank you for the moderator. Next, I would like to explain about what is an idiom. In simple terms, an idiom is a phrase that is common in a language or culture that means something different from how it literally sounds. An idiom is an expression that cannot be understood from the meaning of its separate words, but must be learned as a whole expression. Idioms often summarize or reflect commonly held cultural experience, even if that experience is now out of date or antiquated. For instance, you might say that someone should bite the bullet when they need to do something undesirable. The phrase's origin refers to wounded soldiers literally biting down on a bullet to avoid screaming during a wartime operation. That common occurrence from the past resulted in a phrase we still use today. These phrases are also unique to their language of origin. In the English language, idiomatic expressions are spontaneously used by native speakers daily. It is an essential part of the English language lexicon and vocabulary. Idiomatic expressions are therefore considered inevitable for native speakers, and as a result, non-native speakers of English should get accustomed to using these expressions. And non-native speakers of English need to learn idiomatic expressions and practice how to use them parallel to native speakers. All right, that's enough from me. We'll give it back to the moderator.
All right, thanks to Hesti, who has delivered the material. For the next material will be delivered by Aulia. To Aulia, please.
All right. So what is the difference between idiom and slang? An idiom is a phrase or sentence that meaning is not obvious through knowledge of the individual meanings of the constituent word but must be learned as a whole. On the other hand, slang is a word, phrases, or a term used by a specific group or certain people. When you come across an idiom, you might feel a little bit confused. That's because you don't know its hidden meaning. It may sound a little bit, not a little bit, a little weird to you as well. And slang is usually used in everyday conversation. Some slang words and phrases also appear in the literature. In case you worry about slang usage, you won't have any problem. You're using it with the people. If you're talking with your best friend, relative, or anyone dear to you, feel free to use them. Here's another example. There are similarities and the difference. Slang and idiom have same similarity. Informal or casual conversation also have different meaning than dictionary. For the difference, for slang changes over time and used and understood by small group of people, usually only one or two words. An idiom doesn't change over time, used and understood by most English speakers, usually a longer phrase, more than two words. Okay, that's all from me. I will give it back to my moderator.
All right, thank you, Aulia, who has delivered the material. For the next material will be delivered by me. I will deliver the material about the example of slangs. Number 1, we got extra. When you are being over the top, trying too hard, excessive, maybe a little dramatic, way too much, as well as doing the absolute day most for no reason, and it's mostly over nothing. For example, you don't have to be extra about it. Number 2, we got babe. If you refer to someone as a babe, it means that you think they're hot and attractive. You can call your friends or lovers babe, no gender specification. But be careful though, you should only use this when speaking to another person and not the babe, because they may get offended. For example, oh man, Louise Partridge is such a babe, don't you think? Number 3, we got salty. Or describing food flavor. Salty is also used to describe an upset or bitter person. This slang became popularized by the internet, so you'll probably encounter it often in social media posts. For example, he got so salty after I didn't text back right away. Number 4, we got lit. Lit is a term used to describe something that is cool, exciting, something is turned up, awesome, or very enjoyable. When something is really lit, it's straight fire, flawless, incredible. For example, the football match last night was so lit. Number 5, we got basic. In slang, basic characterizes someone or something as unoriginal, unexceptional, and mainstream. Basic is an insult that means something or someone is boring or uncool. For example, let's get out of here. This party is basic. Number 6, we got dying. Dying is laughing uncontrollably due to a joke which someone said. It can be described as something that was so funny, you died laughing. For example, OMG, This joke is hilarious. I'm dying. Number 7, we got on point. Every generation has a way of saying cool, but the modern way of saying it is on point or even on fleek. It can apply to a great dance move, a killer outfit, or even perfectly groomed eyebrows. For example, her makeup is on point. She looks great. Number 8, we got drip. Drip is used to describe something cool, similar to the word swag. Stylish, sophisticated clothes or appearance. For example, Gavi's shoes and belt are dripping today. Okay, so that's all from me. For the next material will be delivered by Ferain. To Ferain.
Okay, thank you. I will explain an example of idioms. The first one is an eye for eye. The example of this idiom is, I'll return damage to my car by damaging his car. An eye for an eye. So the meaning of this idiom is, when in ancient Mesopotamia, one of the offenses in King Hammurabi's penal code was damaging someone's eye. If found guilty of this offense, convicted eye is to be damaged in a tit-for-tat punishment. Of course, we don't live in Hammurabi's Mesopotamia, but if you smash someone's windshield because they have smashed yours, you've just taken an eye for an eye. Second is run around in circles. The example of this idiom is he ran around in circles trying to bring us on board for the new cause. The meaning of this idiom is, if you run in a circle, you'll teach the same place, but to outsiders, you will appear busy. Sometimes we do the same at work. We seem to be working hard at something, but at the end of the day, we have nothing to show for result. Next slide, please. Okay, the third is working up the wrong tree. The example sentence of this idiom is, in the initial months of COVID-19, scientists were sometimes working up the wrong tree in their recommendation of preventive steps. So the meaning of this idiom is, when the dog standing underneath the leafy branches keeps on barking while the monkey quietly sleeps to the adjoining tree. The dog is now barking up the wrong tree. If someone is barking up the wrong tree, they are following a wrong course of action. The fourth is once in a blue moon. The example is, when startups turn in profit once in blue moon. The meaning is, moon is silvery, not blue. And if it turns blue as a result of some climatic or celestial phenomenon, it will be a rare event. So if something happens once in blue moon, it must be an extremely rare event. Next slide, please. Okay, the fifth is burn your boats. The example is, I've burned my boats with my previous supervisor by praising him publicly. The meaning is, on reaching the Mexican shore in 1519 HD, Hernán Cortés, the Spanish general, ordered the boats to be burned. Without boats, they couldn't return. The only option left was to fight as hard as they could and win the land. If you burn your boats, you do something that makes it impossible for you to change your plans and go back to earlier position. Last is jump the gun. An example, the sentence is, I jumped the gun by sending the proposal to the client without first showing it to my manager. The meaning is, awaiting the gunfire, sprinters are ready to blast off the blocks, but then just before the gunfire, a sprinter blasts off, forcing the referee to call a false start. If you jump the gun, you do something to show without proper thought. That's all for me. I give it back to moderator.
All right. Thanks to Ferain, who has delivered the last material. All right, everyone. Maybe that's all the presentation from our group. Thank you for your attention. I'm sorry if our group had a mistake during the presentation, and here are the references from our group. We hope our presentation will give you benefit. We hope you guys understand about the materials today. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.